A drug dealer posted a seemingly harmless photo of himself on an encrypted messaging site where drug dealers typically do their business. Now, he didn't post a picture of his face, but he did post a picture of himself holding a block of cheese. Apparently it's some fancy block of cheese. And that photo, which I'm about to show you right now, ended up getting him arrested. So there's the photo. He's holding a mature blue Stilton block of cheese. And through that photo, authorities were able to analyze his fingerprints and arrest him. Carl Stewart, 39 from Liverpool, northwestern England, sent a picture on an encrypted device of a block of Stilton he had found in an upmarket British grocery store. The photograph was discovered by police who used it to analyze his fingerprints and identify Stewart. So there he is, there's his mugshot. He got caught, and the detective inspector Lee Wilkinson issued a comment on this, saying that Stewart was involved in supplying large amounts of Class A and Class B drugs, but was caught out by his love of Stilton cheese. I feel you. I feel you. I mean, I don't know about Stilton cheese, but I love cheese. After sharing a picture of a block of it in his hand through EncroChat, so that's the name of the encrypted messaging platform. His palm and fingerprints were analyzed from his picture, and it was established they belonged to Stewart. It's pretty crazy, Nando. We've talked about robots being implemented by local police, in some cases to even like help to evict people. We've talked about other forms of surveillance and technology used to do some pretty scary things. I didn't realize that technology had advanced to the point where they can literally analyze your fingerprints from a photo.
Yeah, if it's not even safe to hold a block of cheese, then what is it safe to do at this point? It's interesting because as things get worse and worse, which they are, and as the climate catastrophe gets worse, which it will, they're going to need new methods of social control. I mean, that's what's behind all of this surveillance and the increasing kind of police technology to be able to essentially control the population, right? That's what's going on, and sometimes it's funny, and like I don't know if this guy was a good guy or not, or he seems like he was a drug dealer, which. I don't, whatever. But it's just terrifying that they can now do that. I mean, we've talked about like, what was that crazy story you did on weekends about like drone, like what was it, drone helicopter things that were flying above our heads and
certain cities. I mean,
that's what that is. Just
to tell the audience, certain cities started implementing these like 24-hour drone surveillance programs, which, and the way that they sell it to people is it's gonna keep you safe, it's gonna root out crime, it's so much better. But no, it's obviously a huge privacy concern. You don't want a drone flying over your private backyard, right? You wanna be able to like enjoy your life and have a little bit of private space. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, things have gotten pretty bad already in regard to the surveillance. And also, I mean, you got issues with facial recognition technology, especially how insanely flawed they are in determining the right person of color that they're looking for. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I don't know too many details. I looked into him. I couldn't find too many details about his crimes other than he sells drugs. But the way that they also caught him, and this is important for anyone of you who might be engaging in questionable behavior on these encrypted messaging sites. He was using the messaging site himself under the handle Toffee Force. He seems to be a lover of food. Hey. I guess. But he was using the platform to sell drugs, right? To communicate with the individuals he was gonna sell to. And so they wanted to determine like, who is this guy? And all they needed was that picture of him, which he posted through the chat, holding the block of cheese to analyze his fingerprints. So, I mean, I have so many questions, and as far as I know, there aren't really any answers for it in response to this story. But what does the resolution of the photo need to be, right? And but seriously, because if it's too pixelated, are they going to be able to analyze the fingerprints correctly? What if they get the wrong person as a result of the photo? What if you moved a tiny bit as the photo was being taken and there's a little bit of a blur? I don't know. There's always room for this technology to fail and for innocent people to end up getting accused of crimes that they haven't committed. That's the other part of it that's concerning, because oftentimes people just think like, no, but it's advanced technology, it's flawless, it's great, driverless car. I mean, yeah, driverless cars, they're so great. But no, there's a lot of room for error. And when you're talking about
even DNA testing, which all the cop shows like CSI and all that stuff taught us that basically every crime is solved by finding semen or blood or sweat at the crime scene. Even that apparently is like incredibly flawed, and that it's not as kind of one-to-one as we're led to believe, that these kind of technologies aren't like 100% foolproof. They're not even close to 100% foolproof. It's not like there's a significant potential for error, but I think the public, and I think a lot of people in the justice system and things like that, when some expert goes up there and is like, well, no, the fingerprints, they're the exact same ones, and they're gonna be like, okay, well, whatever, if the computer says it, they're, you know what I mean? But it's not entirely clear that technology actually even works to the degree that people think it does.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And when you consider the burden of proof in finding someone guilty of murder, I mean, they need to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Like that's the standard. If you are the defense attorney and there's DNA evidence indicating that your client did the crime, just bring on experts who question the validity of DNA testing. I mean, it's just kind of, yeah, it's scary stuff. It's absolutely scary stuff. I remember reading a lengthy piece about the reliability of drug sniffing dogs and how often they actually get it wrong. So obviously that's not advanced technology, but so many of the methods of either surveillance or evidence gathering that we've been taught to trust wholeheartedly certainly do have their flaws. And when you're talking about technology, which of course is developed by people who have their own biases, who make their own mistakes, human error plays a role in all of this. You're gonna deal with faulty methods of determining who is a criminal, faulty methods of evidence gathering. And it is really scary stuff, because for some people, if they're innocent, it could be the difference between freedom or being imprisoned for a crime you haven't committed. In this case, I don't know, it seems like he committed this crime because he was also communicating with others about the drugs he was selling. And he's already been sentenced to 13 years and 6 months in prison. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine, heroin, MDMA, and ketamine, and to transferring criminal property, police said. So they threw the book at him.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.